Welcome back to the best shaped state of Michigan. My name is Costa and I'm in Macomb, Michigan in zone 6B. And today is a pretty cold, pretty chilly 49 degrees. It's a Friday. We're 1 week away from Halloween. We've had a ton of rain this week. So I have not mowed since my last mow, which was about a week ago now, maybe, I don't know, 5 to 7 days ago. So the grass is getting pretty overgrown. The leaves are sticking to it. Usually I'm mowing it short enough that the leaves just blow over my lawn and stick to everybody else's lawn. So that's the goal for the day. I'm going to turn it around and show you the state of the lawn and the state of some of the things in the garden, and then I'm going to get to work. All right, starting off right behind me here, the Amsonias are finally starting to get some color. The four big ones here, the taller ones, those are halfway to Arkansas, and they're just starting to get there a little bit of yellow. But the little guy here is the midway to Montana, and that's been pretty gold for about 2 weeks now, and I am in love. I love that so much. That color is awesome. It's going to get even more orange. You can kind of see it on this very front one where it's starting to get a little bit more orange, red, pink, and it's going to turn here. More in November. It's going to look amazing, so I can't wait for that. This euphorbia is not really getting the color change just yet. This one runs a little behind, I'm noticing this one, but this is getting the red, pink, orange color change here. Looking forward to that. Pretty sure I'm going to take this brocade artemisia out. This is looking pretty raggedy, and I think I'm going to have to do some research, but I think if I take it down, pretty much cut it to the ground, I think it's still going to come back in the spring. This globosa, man, I made a video about this and I've asked questions about it in several videos, and I swear every couple days I come out here, it just looks worse, like double worse every couple days. Like it's getting more and more pink and white. And at this point, I just don't think it's worth it. Like I was debating on, someone made a comment, and I can't remember their username, but I know it's the person that's out in Grand Rapids area. And they mentioned about maybe just leave it and see what happens. And I was thinking, it's like, yeah, maybe I will do that just because I don't want to lose this plant. But at the same time, I just don't see how it's going to make it. It looks so bad. And with the winds coming from fall and winter here, maybe some of these needles are going to blow over, 12 feet over to my other spruce, and I definitely don't want that. So here's the dahlias. I'm gonna take this dead stuff off today. We had a decent frost the other day and a lot of rain, and that all came down, but they're still hanging on up here. But there's no way they're gonna bloom this year. So I'm pretty sure what I'm gonna do is throw these in the garage. I might uncover the soil just a little bit to make sure the tubers don't look destroyed and black, like they rotted or anything. And I think I'm just going to leave them in the garage in their pots in the soil, and then maybe bring them out in like April or May, something like that. And double check on that, but everything else looking pretty good still. I'm going to cut back some of the foliage on the my two alliums because I can't stand how it looks. Still need to get my Crimson Queen here in the ground. Just going to pop it right there. Everything else here looking pretty good. This false cypress needs to come out. I'm probably going to take this one out as well because there's so much dead foliage on it underneath it. I don't know if I really want to mess with it now to just try to take out some of the dead foliage. So that's it for the front garden bed, and then here we are back to the lawn. I have a lot of this in the lawn right here, if you can see this. These little discoloration tips, and I'm not sure if this is from frost or from animals peeing or something. I'm not sure what causes this, but I have a lot of this going on in the lawn right now, and it's all in these like very tiny spots, so not too sure. I do think the Bio Advance that I sprayed in this area about 2 weeks ago, I think that helped to knock back whatever bent grass or Bermuda grass was here just enough. And I also let my main grass grow up tall enough to kind of crowd it out so I didn't have to look at the brown. Still dealing with, this is one of the squirrel or skunk holes that they dug up. So from far you can kind of tell too, because it's so discolored and green around it from where the grass is growing up, and it's unfortunately not really seeing much grow in this hole here. So hopefully when I cut the grass shorter here, It'll allow a little bit more sun to try to get in there for the last of it, but today I get really bad leaf collection here around this perimeter, so I'm going to get the blower out, get this all out as much as possible. I might try to blow as many leaves off before I even mow it to pick up everything, but I'm going to do several mows today for sure. One mow with the Ego to bag everything, and I might drop it down a notch or two with the real mower to see. Depending on how well I can handle the cold today. My throat and neck are already bothering me. This actually filled in pretty good here, the part by the street. If you go back to some videos from September, I had, I don't know, half a dozen bare spots here. Here's an example. This one's still a little bit more bare on the bare side, but this filled in pretty well. I did put everything here. I put the Kentucky Bluegrass seed for my sod farm. I put the Ryegrass that I had left from the Ryegrass, and then I put in the Seed Superstore SS 9000, I think it is, that I got from my friend Scott. And his seed actually, I'm pretty sure it did germinate. I used it by my big hole up where I spilled my fertilizer, and that's coming in. So this is the state of it before anything. I'll show you the side of the driveway here real quick, and then I'm going to get going. This is already getting kind of long. Here we go here. I have this one little bare spot here. I don't see it, so it's probably covered up with leaves or filled in with grass, so that's good. I need to get these up, and then here's the bare spot right here. And I can see, yeah, it's a surprise. Someone's been digging over here, so, and I can tell that they dug up some of my new grasses that were coming up. Unfortunately, there's new grasses in here. So yeah, I'm gonna put these I'm just gonna put them in here, and when I'm done for the day, I'm gonna cover this back up with peat moss and throw some of the rodent stuff on here, the squirrel peppermint oil stuff. Not sure my feelings on that product yet. It definitely works when you first apply it, but it definitely doesn't last long. And I feel like they maybe have like some kind of immunity built up to it where they're just like running through an electric fence and they're just going to go for it. I don't know what in particular is with that hole, but they don't seem to care. All right, again, I wanted to remind everybody, this is just the normal house here. We're in Macomb Township. This is a pretty average size suburban house, 1,500 square feet in a normal neighborhood, nothing special here. And I haven't used any crazy products. Probably the craziest product I've used that maybe the majority or the average homeowner might not use is liquid iron. Other than that, I used ammonium sulfate, a regular fall fertilizer of 22010 from Menards, and that's about it. I did use like a micronutrient booster because I had it, so I posted all this in a previous video, so you could check that out if you want to see what I used the last time around. But at this point in the year too, I'll give an update after I mow it, but from the looks of it right now, I'm pretty sure I'm done applying anything to the lawn. I might do one more iron just because that's how I am. I want it to be dark, and I have a feeling I'm going to lose a little color after mowing a lot of this off. But I don't think I'm going to put down another fertilizer. It doesn't look like it needs it, especially with the growth we had and the rain we got here after not getting rain. So I think I'm probably just going to leave it as is. So I'm going to get into the mowing now. Okay, I just completed the first pass with the Ego mower, the 20-inch original Ego mower, the OG. This is on setting 3, which is 2.4 inches. And I'm going to turn it around because I feel like this is going to be helpful for people to see how I take this down, because I'm actually going to be starting this today due to the weather that we've had with all the rain. Okay, I haven't mowed it like this in a long time, and I usually don't mow it with the curve the whole way when it's been this wet. But it handled it pretty well. It's not stripes at all. This is just the wheel marks from the mower, but it does look pretty cool. Yeah, I think it can give you a good idea of how the lawn's looking. The sun has been really weird today. Just I mean, not weird, but like it's really cloudy. So it's like we keep getting these blasts of sun. I just took Willow for a walk before this and like constantly taking my sunglasses on and off. So again, this is facing east. We face west. So this is facing the house directly. So I'm kind of pointed slightly southeast right now. But I feel like you can tell how long and shaggy the lawn still is, even having just this one fresh cut at 2.4. I'm probably only going to do here between the neighbors' houses with me in the swale. I'm going to do that on not 2.4. I'm going to drop it down to the setting 2, which is 1.8 on the Ego, just in anticipation of more rain, although I don't think we're supposed to get rain until Wednesday. Here we are facing basically southwest, so you can see the color change from this direction. I am still dealing with the squirrel spots, and you can definitely see them once you take that top layer of the grass off. Here's a good example too of just how tall this gets, and it's really hard for me to get in here with the mower. So I might come back here with the the string trimmer. But I'm going to do this one little, maybe 2-width pass, like 40 inches wide or so, at the 1.8. And then this one too, this one's not coming back here. So my plan here too, so I'm going to double seed, where I call it double seed, where I put both of my seeds in there. I'm going to put my bluegrass in there and some ryegrass to hopefully get something to sprout. And it's almost going to be acting as a dormant seeding in a way. Hopefully it won't get dug up too much more between now and whenever it snows. Hopefully that's still a while away. But I'm going to keep doing that until I see it start to kind of grow in. And there's a little jerk right there taking off. Front's looking good. Oh yeah, so I did want to mention, I mentioned the part here by the street that filled in, and I wanted to mention the part here by the sidewalk. So I had a ton of spots here that weren't filled in, and I was not having any luck. And I really think that the seed I got from Scott, the SS 9000 rye blend, I feel like that is what finally has started to fill in here. I can tell that it's still not perfect. It's still not like just a sharp edge, like drop off the edge of the earth here kind of thing. For example, here's a spot here. There's a ton of baby grass in here, but unfortunately that soil is not to the correct height because it got washed out so many times from being on the edge, and I just couldn't keep it level. But I'm actually pretty happy with how much this filled in, because I've been dealing with a ton of bare spots here on the corner from the spring when the edger took out just chunk after chunk. So still have not bought the new edger yet, but like I said, I just wanted to show in between mows. Hopefully I'm not going to regret mowing some of my sweet spots here a notch lower. It actually does look really good the more I'm looking at it, and now I'm just tempted to break out the real mower and do some passes, dropping it down maybe twice. But I think I am going to do at least the perimeter by the flower bed, one notch lower, and one pass by the swale along the neighbor side here. This side over here, this is mowed a lot higher than it normally is. This is 2.4. I normally am doing this at 1.8. If not, I can keep this at 1. I had this at 1 a couple weeks ago. So this is 1.5 inches taller than it was a couple weeks ago. And to me, this just looks terrible on this side. So with this being that tall, this is going to get lower. So I'm going to for sure mow this down. And I do have, like I said, I have the one spot here from the squirrel, and I'm going to try to get some of these leaves out in here now. Surprise, surprise. And guess what this MFer just did? That's right. Put a nice scalp swirl mark in the same spot I always do. Never going to learn. I'm always going to get greedy with the sweet spot, trying to take this down here to 2.4. Dumb and dumb. Luckily, this one's not too bad, and I think it's going to even out nicely with the real mower. It's got more of an even color green, so it's not sticking out as bad. But I actually went over this twice because this neighbor's fescue is really kind of crouching in over here, and I was trying to get that out. So yeah, but what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to do a second pass at 2.4 with the rest of this. So I did the edge here. I did the swale, just this one pass. It's a little hard to see. Let me see if I can get it from here. You can see the sharp line right there. That is just, I did one pass with the Ego at 1.8. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to try to smooth it out with the reel mower. But you can really start to see in here the yellowing and the brown grasses and some of that. I mean, as soon as I look just right past the perimeter of the property line, you can really see the bent grass in here. It's just, I think it's like a just slightly different variety than what I've been showing. But yeah, right here, this junk is, I find it everywhere in my lawn. So again, this was newly sodded. There we go. I needed to let it focus. So this was new sod in 2010, I think. So it's been 15 years. But this, I don't know if it's creeping bent grass or the variety of bent grass it is, or maybe if it is Bermuda. I don't think it's Nimblewill, because Nimblewill to me almost looks like the first early stages of like the crabgrass right before it starts to tiller out. So when you see that baby crabgrass, the Nimblewill looks more like that. And I've had it where I've taken it to Wiegand's and they looked under diagnostic and like, oh, that's Nimblewill. So I have definitely had that here. I mentioned in a comment that I feel like that grows more like a nut's edge, or God, I can't think of the other one. Like how nut's edge will grow in one spot. You'll keep seeing it in one spot. Even if you pull it out or you mow it short, you're going to see nut's edge come back in one spot. And I feel like that's the same thing with Nimblewill, but you won't find it on edges with Nimblewill. You'll find it just in like clusters throughout the lawn. Oh, the other one I'm thinking of is quackgrass. And a lot of times I'll find quackgrass just continually over and over in the same spot. So, but Nimblewill, like I said, has that kind of look of the baby crabgrass. Thankfully, for the most part, I'm seeing all the crabgrass from neighbors' lawns pretty much gone right now. But just wanted to show this. I'm not going to show doing everything again on the second notch, but I will come back here because that's just like 15 minutes of recording for no reason for me to speed up. But I'll show it once I'm done with the second pass. Plus, I want to get more of these leaves up. The blower can only do so much. The blower doesn't do a whole lot when it's these small leaves. And I believe these little yellow leaves here, I think it's from a locust tree. That worked great. Let's see here. And my understanding is that these are one of the leaves that are highest in nitrogen. So if these break down, plus these are super tiny. So these would be a great leaf to mulch into the lawn. I don't ever set this mower on mulching because I don't think it does a very good job at it. Again, this is the OG 20-inch Ego mower. But I do let whatever gets cut up enough into the lawn stay there. I don't freak out over just tiny amounts being in the lawn. All right, the other thing I wanted to mention is I do have the high lift blade on here. So it comes with the standard mulching blade, and I feel like I get a better cut. I get more lift. I get less clippings dropped into the lawn when I use the high lift blade. And when I discovered this, and it's probably been about 7 years, and I've had this mower 9 years. So like the first 2 years, I didn't really know there was another blade option. And I don't think there was another blade option until they started to come out with new mowers. So this was the only mower for the first few years. So once they came out with the option for a high lift blade, I bought that, and I've been buying that ever since. So if you haven't used a high lift blade on your mower, I highly recommend it. But yeah, if you're gonna mulch, for sure use your mulching blade, but I really like using the high lift blade for everything. Okay, so change of plans, just real quick. I did a bunch more passes at 1.8 here, and I want it to expose all of the squirrel holes to give it as much sunlight as possible to keep them from being as crowded out by the taller grasses. So I'm gonna turn it around here and show you this. And I decided, you know what, it's only video and I'm gonna delete it once I make the video anyways. So I'm gonna record everything just to show you, and you'll be able to see over the quick lapse of how just like the little tiny increment that it's going to drop down, what a difference it's going to make even mowing it at the same height. Okay, so I went up to where you see the mower here. So to the right of the wheel, that's about where I stopped. So even with this squirrel hole, I wanted to get all of those as exposed as possible. And it is very wet, especially in here. So again, reminder, when your grass is this wet, I don't like to mow it when it's this wet at all. But for sure, make sure you clean out your mower deck. Again, I don't know when I'm going to get to mow again, but today's Friday. I'm hoping to mow again actually tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, with the real mower, just one pass. So you can kind of see it. I think there's a name for this on golf greens, but I'm not into golf at all, so I don't know anything about that other than I know from pictures that there's different heights they mow, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to keep this as short as possible because this is a harder, this is like the beast that gets out of control the fastest because it stays wetter and shadier here and this area grows faster, so I'm mowing the shorter. But I am going to turn it around back to a time lapse here and do another pass. Same pass on 2.4 that I already did, but just to try to pick up even more leaves. Again, the grass is very wet. I filled up one complete bag with lawn clippings and leaves from the first pass, and it was very heavy, even though it was mostly leaves. So again, reminder, make sure you're cleaning out your mower decks. It's a pain in the butt and it takes more time, but it's worth it in the long run. Okay, I just completed the second pass. There's that sun again. We need it to dry this wet grass out. So just completed the second pass on 2.4 inches. I'm going to turn it around to show you. Definitely seeing some more of the bare spots that looked like they were a little bit fuller, but the second pass definitely picked up more of the leaves that were in the grass and exposed more of the canopy that hasn't been filled in yet from the grasses that are growing in. So that looks awesome. I know it's not stripes, but still, it still looks cool. You can tell, I feel like this actually shows how thick the lawn is. I feel like this is a really good example. So this is me, I'm walking north right now, and I'm looking to the west, camera's facing east. So let's see what I can turn around here. Okay, another look. So this is kind of my cleanup pass with the Ego. So mowing it the exact same directions 2 times on the exact same setting on 2.4, minus the swale and the edges here at the 1.8. It made a huge difference. It got up probably 75% more of the leaves that were in the grass. So I'm really happy with that. I do think I'm going to break out my Toro leaf vacuum. I know that it does not do well when the leaves are wet, and I'm a little worried because I've had to replace it once from vacuuming out wet leaves. And I want to get all of these guys out from the rock bed, and these are really wet in here. But I just want to try to keep up with as many of the leaves as possible because these will probably stay here, but the less leaves there are to blow back, the better. This is still only at 2.4. I am going to do a pass on this at 1.8 because I can tell how shaggy this side is. But there, I'm really happy with this, but I am going to take it down a notch. I'm probably going to start at 2 1/4 and then maybe 2 with the real mower. Okay, back from home base here with the tripod. I'm going to start mowing with the real mower. I already started. I started at 2 and it didn't do anything. 1 3/4 didn't do anything. So 1 1/2 is taking off just a little bit. And because I plan on mowing this at least one more time this weekend, Saturday or Sunday, or if not both, I'm only going to take off to the 1 1/2. So even though it's going from technically 1.8 on the Ego, I'm not sure if these measurements are 100% correct anyways, but it's not taking off a whole lot from what I just mowed at. So I'm not getting like giant grass clippings in there. And then I also mowed everything that I mowed at at the setting 2 at 1.8. I just dropped those down to 1 inch on the real mower. So I wanted to thank Allet for sending me the new Allet Sterling here. So I can't wait to show it to you. So yeah, oops, my bad. That did not happen. That must have been a dream. So I have the Yardworks 20 inch from Menards here. So I mowed just the one pass here at 1 inch. And then I mowed at the neighbors' perimeters by the swales and by the street where they have their giant fescue Strawbrook straw grass. I mowed that at 1 inch. So everything else is going to get mowed at 1.5 here. With this little guy, this is going to be, you can already see I've barely made any passes here, and like the wet grass in here is pretty awful. So this is going to have to get cleaned up pretty good too. And it sounded really squeaky, so I'm going to have to put some oil on there today for sure. So gonna get into it. I'm gonna turn you, well, keep you turned around now, set you up on the tripod, and watch me mow slow with the real mower. Boom, boom ski. All right, done with the reel mower. I gotta say, I'm happy with how this looks. All the hard work and the issues I had at the end of August not working and then starting over in September, I'm really happy. And I will say, for everything that was done, for whether it was the scalping, the dethatching, scarifying, overseeding, putting down peat moss to hold in the seed, putting down ammonium sulfate before that, putting down the Scott's triple action for seeding with the mesotrione, watering for a week straight when I put the ammonium sulfate down, watering for a week straight when I overseed it, pre-germinating the seed for a week before, or no, 5 days I think it was, before I put it down. It's either 5 days or 7 days, I can't remember. All those things, even keeping up with the watering. The one thing that makes the biggest difference is natural rain. Is getting rain just naturally. When we get a rainstorm, there's something about the nitrogen in rain. It does something for your lawn that there's nothing else can duplicate it. This is from, we got rain like every other day this week, and the lawn only looks like this for a couple weeks out of the year. At the end of the year, like the last couple weeks of October or the first couple weeks of November. And this is when it looks the best. So there's like a, I don't know, 2 to 4 week window when everything I've done in the fall looks good for a couple weeks. It looked good a couple weeks ago, or like a month ago after that, and the overseed when it finally took hold. But now this is kind of what I guess I'm working for to get this look. So like Google Maps, Apple Maps, now's a great time to drive by the house, take some shots of what the house looks like with the lawn looking good. Let me close the garage up so you don't see all my junk in the garage there for the lawn here. I'm gonna turn it around here and show you some close-ups. All right, so here we are. This is 1.5 inches on everything aside from doing a pass here at 1 inch, but it definitely evened out. I got my little scalp. You can still see it. You can still see it from here, but it really is the lighting. I'll probably be able to see it from the house, from the window, and that'll bother me. But of all my scalps this year, this one's the best. This one's the one that bothers me the least. It stands out the least because it's the color is more even. Can still see some of the issues here. This corner was really bad. I had a lot of squirrel damage here. A lot of when I dethatched from the neighbor's bentgrass, they had a lot of bare spots here, so this filled in really nicely. I can tell when I'm mowing here, I'm not sure if this is going to pick up on camera, but the very edge here of the grass by the curb has more of a yellow tint, and that's because this has so much new grass growing in from the seed. So it looks like it's got like a chlorosis going on, but I feel like it's just not established enough, and I'm not sure if it's going to make it through the winter because I'm not sure if it's going to establish itself enough before we actually have our final freezes here. But it's looking pretty good. Like here's a good example of, this is a decent bare spot. It's like the size of like the tip of my shoe. But overall, I'd say it closed up like 50%, and sometimes that's all you can ask for. Again, no lawn is perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect lawn. I don't claim to have one. Here's another area where this spot's still pretty bare. So at this point, areas like this, I'm not really sure putting more seed down or anything is really going to do much. The only spot I plan on putting more seed down is where I spilled the fertilizer. So I'm going to do that again, or at least cover it with peat moss. But from here, if you want to tell me my lawn looks perfect, great. But I know it's not. but it does look good. I did lose my 100% mowing with the curve, because when I mow with the push reel mower, I have to mow in straight lines. It doesn't do curves very well with the push reel mower. So like the neighbors that I was just talking to that walked by, when they walk by tomorrow, they're probably going to be like, what happened to his lines? But so this looks good. Like I said, I'm really happy. If I remember here, I'll try to do a recap of everything that I've used in the past like month or so. Again, the most out of the ordinary things I've used were the liquid iron from Simple On Solutions and the micro booster from Simple On Solutions. And basically that's just like giving your lawn vitamins. So I'm always surprised when neighbors and people freak out when they see stuff that I'm putting down. I'm just like, it's just like giving yourself, it's just like taking vitamins for yourself. And then here is the state of the reel mower. And this is actually a lot harder to clean than the Ego. This area is clean. I have to use, it's hard to clean. I use like 2 different brushes. I use a paintbrush. I use like a soft bristle, like synthetic, like horseshoe brush kind of thing. So let me show you that. These are the 4 I use. So this is what I consider a synthetic horseshoe brush. This works good. This is my little Libman. This gets into tight corners. This is just a dustpan brush. This is nice and soft. And then the old paintbrush that I use for all kinds of stuff. So, and I am going to put some oil on here when I'm done. All right, after walking around and thinking about it, I'm not going to break out the Toro leaf vacuum. I'm kind of tired. I still need to do the back. I'm really hungry. I'm looking forward to pizza tonight. It's probably a Jets night, so that's coming. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I don't think I said this at the beginning of the video, but I did want to say a special thank you to Keith, and I think he's either in Macomb or Shelby near me, and then Wayne, and he is in Pacific Northwest in Canada. And I want to say thanks to both of you guys. I appreciate you commenting. You know what? And there's a third one. I can't remember the username now too. It escapes me. I don't think there's a name in it. But the person out in Grand Rapids, I know you've commented a couple times, so thank you to you as well. I keep forgetting because there's not a name with it, but the username is Fine Wine, and they're in Grand Rapids, so thank you to you as well. Thanks to Scott for watching, who's my buddy that lives like 4 miles north of me. I know he watches most of these, so appreciate that. If there's any other regulars that have watched all these, I appreciate the fact that you've watched. I'm grateful for every view and subscriber. I know I'm just a tiny person starting out, tiny channel here with not a lot of subscribers and not a lot of content, but I've been trying to put it out. I thought about doing this for years, probably 8 to 10 years. I've thought about having a YouTube channel. And I'm finally doing it. It was a late start in the year, but I figured better late than never. And at least, you know, fall content, what a better time than to record than now. So again, I do plan on having more garden content, and really it's just a glorified garden bed right now, but this is what I have to start. And again, my goal, I guess, with this channel is not really to show like what I'm doing in the lawn, or like to show like fast clips of me mowing and edging and like leaf blowing and all that kind of stuff, or like putting stuff on the lawn, because like every video has that in it. My goal for this is to take a page out of Justin at S&K Nurseries, to take a page out of Justin at S&K Nurseries book. And his tagline and phrase that he uses all the time is become a plant person. And I love that. And my goal is to show the lawn, but to also show that there's more to the lawn than just the lawn. The lawn is a plant, you know, grass, turf is a plant, but there's more to it than just that. So if you're someone that just only does lawn and you haven't gotten into landscaping or putting any kind of plants around your house, which it seems like is a trend. So I'm not knocking you guys, but I guess I am in a way. Because I was that way too. And I was like, man, this is dumb. My lawn looks good, but my landscaping does not. So that made me want to change, and I really got into plants. So I'm hoping that a few more people will kind of jump on board and get into plants. I mean, if you think that there's a never-ending supply of things you can do with grass, just wait till you get into plants. Especially if some of you guys get into Japanese maples or conifers, especially if you live in an area that can handle them well, like the Pacific Northwest. Your minds are going to be blown. So that is my goal with the channel. I probably should do a video that's more specific, talking about why I got into this and what my goal is, but I'm just going to tack it on to the end of this video and say that's what my goal is with this channel, because that's what it is. So my other goal is just to have the best lawn on my block. So I think I'm doing okay at that. not, it's not even really to have the best lawn on the block. It's to have the best lawn that I can have with trying for myself. So if it's not the best lawn on my block and this is as good as I can get it, then this is my goal. This is my goal, is to like do the best that I can. Really, that's my goal in life. So I hope this finds you well, and I will see you in the next video. I have like 3 or 4 that I'm in the works of, so I might release some hard this week for the rest of spooky season, because pretty much once November rolls around, no one's probably gonna be watching lawn stuff. So gonna try to get them out. I appreciate you viewing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.